Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Throne of Steel 2 episode number 10 based on novel. So let's start. Even if you just look at the buildings of the Spirit Furnace Academy from a distance, you will feel a sense of carriage stopped before the path leading to the Spiritual Stove Academy. Get out of the car, let's walk there. When everyone got out of the carriage, the three 9th rank bosses walked in front, and Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong followed. Moment they set foot on the small path, Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong felt a strange feeling. They both clearly felt that the spiritual stove in their bodies was trembling slightly. It was a kind of excitement after being touched. It seemed that their hearts were touched. Spiritual furnace emits a faint light from the chest, and the outline of itself is also faintly visible. Not only them, but the two brothers also discovered that the three 9th rank bosses walking in front also had lights shining on there. That the spiritual stove of the teachers? What a magical place this is. Just by coming here, will one's own spiritual stove be touched? Walking forward, when they were about halfway down the path, everything around them seemed to twist slightly. The three 9th rank bosses stopped in their tracks, and they all bowed in the direction of the Spirit Stove Academy, and said in unison, "Students are back, please let me go." Seeing this scene was absolutely shocking to Long Dang Dang and Long Step. The three teachers are all 9th level, and they are so respectful to the academy in front of them, which shows how important the Spiritual Stove Academy is in the temple. Long Dang Dang pulled Long Kong Kong, and hurriedly bowed down. "Welcome home." A soft female voice sounded. The illusory feeling disappeared quietly, and everything in front of me became clear again. The small island that I saw in the distance seemed to appear in front of me in an instant, and it seemed to be magnified. Several actually set foot on the island. The next a strange scene shocked Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong. Even Long Kong Kong, who was carefree on weekdays, couldn't help but feel a little cautious. Zi Qianwu and Na handed a white badge to the two brothers. Emblem is round, engraved with blue and gold intertwined patterns. It seems to be a spiritual stove, a bit like the Holy Spiritual Stove. You can only enter the Spiritual Stove Academy with a college badge. You have to keep in mind, every time you go out and return, you need to salute and ask like we did before you can enter. Na said seriously. It's rare for the three of you to come together. At this moment, a chuckle sounded, and the next moment, a figure quietly appeared in front of everyone. It was a man in a white robe with golden patterns embroidered on. Bowed slightly to the three of Na, and the three of them returned the salute at the same time. Zi Qianwu smiled and said, "Brother Yu, I haven't seen you for a long time, and I still look good." The man in white smiled and said, "Life in the college is leisurely, and it is true that you can grow old slowly. The three of you are sending students here this time?" While talking, his eyes have already fallen on Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong brothers. Zi Qianwu nodded and said, "Exactly. These two brothers are our disciples. The Spiritual Stove Selection Conference is about to begin. We specially sent them to the academy for further studies." "Okay." He first looked at Long Dang Dang, squinted his eyes slightly, and said, "Holy Yin Spiritual Stove, Holy Lotus Spiritual Stove. This is a bit strange. Which of your disciples is he?" Zi Qianwu and Hai Jifeng looked at each other, and said, "Brother Hai and I are the same disciples. Both magic and knights." The man in white laughed and said, "No wonder the matching spirit stove is so strange." As he said that, his eyes turned to Long Kong Kong again, and when he saw the vortex-like halo on Long Kong Kong's chest, he was slightly taken aback. "Yo, the last spiritual stove of Yuan vortex in the magic temple was given to you. This child, this ray, has it evolved once? Interesting." He was obviously more interested in Long Kong Kong's Yuan vortex spiritual stove, even though the Yuan vortex spiritual stove was ranked lower. He looked at Zi Qianwu. "Is this brother Zi's disciple?" Zi Qianwu shook her head, Nay coughed and said, "It's my disciple." The man in white was stunned. Would the magic temple give the last vortex spiritual furnace to the night temple? In fact, the evolution of Yuan vortex spiritual stove has only appeared 3 times, and they all appeared in the ancestors whose innate spiritual power exceeded. This child's innate spiritual power should be pretty good. Na said, "The situation of this child is quite special. Brother Yu, do you want to go through the admission procedures for them first?" "Okay, come with me." While speaking, the man in white turned around and walked inward. Under his leadership, the crowd walked towards the depths of the academy. After walking for about 10 minutes, a huge circular building with a height of meters appeared in front of everyone. This building is full of Hunyuan, and there are many strange golden patterns on it. Long Dang Dang recognizes it. It should be magic. Much energy would it take to complete the magic runes covering such a huge building? The man in white stopped in front of the same circular gate, and said to Si Qianwu and the other three, "Please wait here. You two come with me." While talking, he pushed open the gate in front of him. Long Dangdang and Long Kong followed behind him. At this moment, both of them could clearly feel that the spiritual stove in front of their chest became hot, and the excitement was obviously much stronger than before. The man in white walked in front, they followed behind, and then they walked into a huge hall. The shape of the entire hall is the same as that of the building itself, which is also circular. When you enter it, the light is a bit dim. There are no windows here, and there are only many strange magic patterns on the surrounding walls that emit a faint light. The gate was closed, and the man in white led them forward. After about 20 steps, he stopped. The man in white bowed forward and said respectfully, "Senior Yutong, there are new students coming, please baptize and examine them." A quiet and soft female voice sound seems to be the same as the welcome home when I entered the island before. In the next moment, just above their heads, a ray of light suddenly exploded. The brilliant white gold light reflected the entire hall in every detail. Long Dangdang and Long Kong looked up. It was a white light cluster. After careful identification, one could vaguely see what seemed to be a spiritual furnace, a huge spiritual furnace. The diameter of the furnace is more than 10 meters. Because of the strong light it emits, it can only be vaguely seen that it has 2 ears and a whole body of s. Even more strange is that on the spiritual stove, there seems to be a woman sitting with her legs crossed leisurely. When Long Dangdang and Long Kong looked at it, she raised her hand and tapped. 2 white lights fell, they loom over it. In an instant, it was hot and transparent. Long Dangdang and Long Kong only felt that their bodies seemed to be ignited, but they were indescribably comfortable. The whole body seemed to have been washed, and each of them exuded brilliance. 3 rays of light emanated from Long Dangdang's body, which were golden, red, and the 3 rays of light, 2 spiritual stoves, 3 rays of light complement each other and rise up to about Zhongshu. 90 of the 3 attributes of innate spiritual power? This child is rare. There was a hint of surprise in the soft female voice. Which temple sent this? The man in white also showed surprise. He is a disciple of Si Qianwu, the magic temple, and Hai Jifeng, the night temple, and he is said to be a dual cultivation of magic and night. The resources of the temple have the potential to become masters, so cultivate them well. The female voice said softly. The man in white was visibly shocked, and said respectfully, "Yes." The woman turned to Long Kong on the other side. At this time, Long Kong also had a ray of light rising from his body, but there was only a golden ray. The golden ray swayed and was about 6 feet high, but the strange thing was that the golden ray on his body did not point straight upwards. Instead of a pillar of light, it is presented as a golden disc hovering behind it like a light wheel. The innate spiritual power is about 60, which is a bit poor. However, this Yuan Vortex spiritual stove is a bit strange. I have never seen that the Yuan Vortex spiritual stove can be so closely integrated with us humans, and it is completely integrated. I have evolved once. Yuan Vortex is strange, it is one of the most difficult spiritual stoves to evolve, which is a bit interesting. Twin brothers, but their talents are completely different. Child, is part of your innate spiritual power enhanced by Yuan Vortex spiritual stove? What? How was your innate spiritual power when you first awakened your talent? Listening to the female voice's question, Long Kong said, "My innate spiritual power is 60? He himself was also surprised. "Well, under the light of my aura, there is nothing wrong," the woman said softly. Long Kong was surprised, and Long Dangdang beside him was also stunned. Answer Senior Yutong's words. The man in white reminded. The innate magic power seems to be 9? The inner power is 10? Long Kong scratched his head and said. What? The man in white exclaimed, and blurted out, "This is impossible." Light and shadow flickered, and a figure descended from the sky, and suddenly landed in front of Long Kong. With her landing, the surroundings were illuminated extremely brightly. It was an existence completely like a light man, and it could only be vaguely seen as a woman from the raised her hand and pressed on Long Kong's chest. Immediately, Long Kong only felt that his whole body seemed to be frozen, unable to move at all. An unprecedented strange feeling spread throughout his body, and in an instant, he only felt that his soul was about to come out of his body under the light of that light. The girl of light and shadow leaned close to Long Kong's body, her lips moved, as if she had said something, a faint purple color flashed in her eyes and disappeared. After a long while, she turned around suddenly and came to Long Dangdang, and also put her hand on his chest. Long Dangdang only felt a shock all over his body. In the next moment, besides the 3 rays of light that appeared on his body, there were 5 other weaker lights and shadows floating around his body, shining faintly. The man in white had no peace in his eyes at this moment. He knew exactly what kind of existence this person in front of him was, and it was the first time in his memory and cognition that he could let her go and check for herself. The light and shadow rose up again, turned into rays of light and returned to the spirit stove, emitting strong brilliance in the air. She sat silently cross-legged on the edge of the spirit stove, and after a long silence, she spoke again. Unprecedented changes in the spiritual stove. He may have developed the real usage of the Yuan Vortex spiritual stove. It turns out that the Yuan Vortex spiritual stove has to be combined with the congenital waste wood to show its true effect. After hearing her words, Long Kong Kong couldn't help but get angry. "Hey, you being polite? Don't be rude," the man in white reprimanded. "It's okay. Cultivate them well, they are all very rare talents, especially the changes in this primordial vortex spirit stove are very strange, and his innate spiritual power will continue to improve. Perhaps, there is a possibility of touching the chosen one." The breathing of the man in white was a little short, but he didn't notice that the voice of the light and shadow woman had changed before and after, with a strange vibrato added. "Yes?" he replied respectfully. "Go." In the sky, the light and shadow gradually converged until Nuoda's hall became dark again. The man in white waved to Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong, and walked out first. Walking out of this strange hall, the 3 ninth-rank bosses outside were already waiting anxiously. In their impression, this process should not have taken so long. "Brother Yu, how is it?" Nae asked to the other 2, he was obviously much more nervous. "It's all right, I got the compliment from that person. Long Dang Dang may have the qualifications to enter the Holy Hall, as for Long Kong Kong." As he said that, the man in white turned his head and glanced at Long Kong Kong. Nae suddenly tensed up. But the man in white said sincerely, "Brother Yi, you have cultivated a good disciple." The change in his Yuan Vortex spiritual stove actually attracted that person to check it in person. This is the first time in history. The person said, in the future, maybe he has the possibility of becoming the chosen one. These brothers are incredible. In an instant, Nae's eyes shone brightly, and there were faint tears in his eyes. Great, my judgment is indeed correct. Ha 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 ha, it is indeed correct." The man in white frowned and said, "Don't make noise here, don't disturb that one." Yes, I'm getting carried away. Then I'll leave the 2 of them to Brother Yu." The man in white smiled and nodded. "Don't worry, I will report the test truthfully today. Congratulations to the 3 of you in advance." As the man in white left with Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong, the circular hall became dark. On the huge spiritual furnace, the woman's figure did not disappear, she just sat there, resting her chin on her hands, but for some reason, her body was trembling non-stop, so that the body beneath her, the spiritual stove, then emitted a slight buzzing sound. Suddenly, she took a deep breath, and in the next moment, it turned into a ray of clear light, penetrated into the spirit furnace under her body and disappeared without a trace. "Here are your school uniforms. There are 3 sets for each of you. You are transfer students. According to your age, you can directly enter the 1st grade of the academy to study. There are 6 grades in Spirit Stove Academy. Here, age is not important, strength is the most important thing. It's important. You enter the magic class and the night class respectively, right?" The man in white handed the school uniforms to Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong respectively. "No, teacher, we all enter the night class." Long Dang Dang said is Xiqian Wu's exhortation. The main reason why knights are the strongest temple lies in the word, riding. Knights can own strength of the mount is extremely important to the is a possibility of obtaining a mount at the Spiritual Stove Academy, so Xiqian Wu asked him to join the Knight Academy first, and wait until he has a mount. The man in white's eyes moved slightly, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly, and said, "Your teachers are very calculating, that's okay. My name is Yu Yunxiong, and I am the teaching director of the college. I am in charge of some daily affairs of the college. There are only 300 students in our Spirit Stove College. There are many students. Each class has only 1 teacher to teach. Since you are all in the Night Academy, the dormitory should also be allocated together. Your head teacher will come and take you there later." While speaking, he stroked his right hand lightly beside his desk, and it seemed that the light of the magic circle flickered slightly. Long Kong Kong asked curiously, "Teacher Yu, what did you just do?" For this familiar child, Yu Yunqiong couldn't help laughing and said, "It's just a magic communication device. The management of our college is not as tight as that of Temple College. You will have more free time, only the assessment is stricter, you are transfer students, and you are directly recommended for admission without assessment. I suggest that you work harder so as not to fail the assessment. Your teacher should have told you that if you fail the assessment 3 times in a row, you will not be able to continue stay at the academy and study. Yes. Long Dang Dang agreed. But Long Kong Kong said with a grin, Teacher, you, just now that elder sister of the spiritual stove said that I might become the chosen one. What is the chosen one? Why haven't I heard of it? Yu Yin-cheong frowned slightly, and said, that's just a possibility, it doesn't mean that you can really succeed. What is tested there is talent. Your situation is quite special. Talent is improved by the spiritual furnace, but from your judging from the talent you currently possess, it is still at the bottom of the academy, so you need to put in more effort. At this moment, the door suddenly opened, and a pleasant voice came, Old you, what's the matter? While talking, a woman walked in from the outside. She looked like she was in her 20s. She was dressed in a silver and red two-color dress that perfectly outlined her slender figure. She was wearing small white leather boots and combed her hair ponytail, beautiful and heroic. While talking, she also saw the brothers Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong, and her eyes lit up immediately. Hey, twins. They are quite handsome. Where did they come from? Yu Yin-cheong said in a deep voice, Teacher Yang Yao, be serious in front of the students. These are the recommended freshmen who have just arrived. They belong to the Night Temple and are assigned to your class. You lead them to the dormitory and enter directly tomorrow. What? Give us 2 freshmen? Isn't our class full? Why give me a freshman? No. I managed to adjust their status, so how about 2 more people? We will still suffer when the class confronts each other. Yang Yao immediately shook her head repeatedly, flicking the ponytail behind her head. When Long Kong Kong saw that this was actually his and Long Dang Dang's class teacher, his eyes lit up, and before Yu Yin-cheong could speak, he couldn't help but said, Teacher, we are geniuses. The kind of genius among geniuses. Yang Yao said disdainfully, the most indispensable thing in Spirit Furnace Academy is genius. Lao Yu, I don't want it. I'll go first. After saying that, she turned around and was about to leave. Nonsense. Yu Yin-cheong slammed the table and stood up. This is the rule of the academy, you don't want it if you don't want it. Yang Yao was taken aback and looked at Yu Yin-cheong with burning eyes, as if it was the first day she knew him. Yu Yin-cheong felt a little uncomfortable being looked at by her, and his originally serious face softened quickly. It's really genius. Believe me, you won't lose money by taking them. Can I still cheat you? Yang Yao stared at him. Old you, how dare you attack me? All right, you wait for me. You 2 come with me. Saying that, she turned around angrily and walked out. Long Kong Kong looked at Yu Yin-cheong, then at Yang Yao who walked out angrily, rolled his eyes, and stretched out his thumbs with both hands to fight in front of Dang Dang hurriedly pushing him out first. After leaving Yu Yin-cheong's office, Yang Yao's complexion returned to normal. She looked up and down at the pair of twin brothers who were very pleasant looking, and said, Who is the elder brother and who is the younger brother? Hi teacher, I am my elder brother Long Dang Dang. This is my younger brother Long Kong Kong. Long Dang Dang said hastily. Yang Yao said, What level are you 2 at? Long Dang Dang said, Level 4 and 9. Long Kong Kong smiled and said, Report to the beautiful teacher, I am a little short of the 4th step. What? You didn't even reach the 4th level to enter the Spiritual Stove Academy. You walked through the back door fast enough. Yang Yao suddenly became a little angry. No, I'll settle the score with Lao Yu now. You 2 are here, wait here. After saying that, she went back angrily. The 2 brothers looked at each other, and Long Kong Kong said with some grief and indignation, Brother, look, they all discriminate against me. Just get used to it. Long Dang Dang comforted his younger brother. Get used to your face. Did you persist for half an hour last time and really think you can do it? Long Dang Dang raised his eyebrows slightly. While they were talking, Yang Yao rushed out again, Come with me. After speaking, she strode towards the depths of the college. It looks like this is a compromise? As Yang Yao walked, she was thinking about what Yu Yin-cheong said to herself. Just went back to find Yu Yin-cheong and wanted to return the product, but Yu Yin-cheong just said something to her with deep meaning in his eyes, so he sent her away. The dormitory building of Spirit Stove Academy is located on the south side of Spirit Stove Island, and it is a row of small 3-story and are in one area, divided by occupation, and the other 3 grades are in another area. Yang Yao led them to the first-year night dormitory building, and brought them to a small 3-story building, and shouted, Mu Yi. Soon, the door of the dormitory on the first floor opened, and a boy who appeared to be 15 or 16 came out from inside. Teacher Yang, what's the matter? The young man looked tall and dull, with an ordinary appearance, but revealed a bit of simplicity. I know you are practicing in the dormitory. Is the third floor of your dormitory building unoccupied? Yang Yao asked. Yes, the third floor is still empty. Mu Yi replied honestly. Take the two of them to the third floor, and the two dormitories belong to them. This is a new transfer student in our class. You bring them to class tomorrow morning. A transfer student? Good teacher. Mu Yi nodded. You guys settle down first, come to class tomorrow. Yang Yao waved at Long Dangdang and Long Kongkong, turned and left. Long Kongkong moved closer to Long Dangdang and said, It seems that the teacher doesn't like us very much. Long Dangdang ignored him, walked up to Mu Yi, and said, Hello, I am Long Dangdang, and this is my younger brother Long Kongkong. Please excuse me. No trouble, we will be classmates from now on. Mu Yi smiled innocently, come with me. Each floor of the dormitory is very spacious, and there are two dormitories, each of which is a suite including a living room, bedroom and bathroom, and a dedicated meditation room. Mu Yi, did you live alone in our dormitory before? Long Kongkong asked very familiarly. Mu Yi shook his head, and said, On weekends, the three of them went out to play, and I stayed at home to meditate. My father said that stupid birds fly first and go into the forest early, so I should work harder on cultivation. Long Kongkong said, Can I go out casually on weekends? Mu Yi nodded, and said, We are not allowed to leave the academy on weekdays, but we are allowed to go out on weekends. There is no restriction, as long as you bring your badge. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome to come back. Hearing what he said, Long Kongkong suddenly became excited. Brother, let's go out and play. Long Dangdang frowned and said, No, I just arrived at the academy, so I'll settle down first, and let's talk about it after getting familiar with it. Besides, why don't you hurry up and rush up? Long Kongkong said, It's not too late. Besides, let's go buy some daily necessities. Long Dangdang thought about it, and indeed, when he went out, his mother gave them money, saying that they could just buy what they needed, so that they would save the trouble of bringing. They only brought some clothes and their daily weapons. All right, then go out and have a look, familiarize yourself with the road. Brother Mu Yi, how can we get into the city more conveniently? Long Dangdang asked. Mu Yi Dao, with the badges of our students, we can use the space teleportation array in the academy to go directly to the Holy Church teleportation array in the city center on weekends. The same can be done when we return. It's very convenient. The church? Long Dangdang's eyes lit. Is the dream holy land of all 6 temple professionals. Brother Mu Yi, can I take you a little longer and take us to the teleportation formation? Long Dangdang said. No problem. Mu Yi readily agreed. The teleportation array is not far from the dormitory area. It is a special building, also white, with a 6-point star logo outside the building. The room where the teleportation array is located is also unattended. Mu Yi told them in detail how to use it. You only need to press the badge on the depression on the wall to confirm that the identity information is correct. After 1 minute, the teleportation array will open and direct orientation teleport to the teleportation array in the church. Long Dangdang and Long Kongkong did as they said, and then walked into the teleportation array. After a short time, the silver light flickered, and the two of them felt that everything around them was suddenly distorted. Sound. This is a room 10 times larger than the teleportation array of Spiritual Stove Academy. The floor and walls are covered with magnificent magic runes. Just as they saw the surrounding scene clearly, lights flickered one after another and appeared on the central array. Then sent to this point, they are standing on the edge. There are 2 exits in the teleportation array. One says it leads to the Holy Church, but there are special guards guarding it. Only the inside of the Holy Church can pass through, while the other exit leads to the outside world. Although the 2 brothers wanted to go to the church, it was obviously unrealistic, so they could only exit the teleportation array through the exit on the other side. After walking outside, and going a little farther, they could see the whole picture of an extremely magnificent and huge building, surrounded by huge stone pillars, supporting a dome with a height of meters. In the Holy City, no building taller than the Holy Church is respect for the sanctuary. Don't look, one day we will go in. Let's go around quickly, the Holy City is so big, let's find something good to eat first. Long Kongkong said excitedly, pulling Long Dangdang. Coming out of the church, the two looked around as they walked. This was completely different from the feeling when they were riding in a carriage before. The buildings on both sides of the street were tall and large, and many of them didn't know what they were. Churches facing the main road of the Holy Two asked passers-by, and learned that there was a place to eat on a narrow road ahead. Turning a corner, sure enough, there are restaurants on both sides of this relatively narrow street which operate different styles of food, and the aroma is so strong that the 2 brothers can't help but move their index fingers. What to eat, what to eat? Long Kongkong asked, shaking Long Dangdang's arm. Just when Long Dang Dang was a little impatient, he suddenly felt that Long Kong Kong had stopped, because he was holding his arm but suddenly stopped moving, so that Long Dang Dang also staggered. "What are you doing?" Long Dang Dang asked. He found that Long Kong Kong was standing motionless as if he had been hit by a fixation spell. His eyes were sluggishly looking in one direction, and his mouth was open. Long Dang Dang followed his gaze and saw that it was a restaurant with a not-so-large appearance, and the signboard on the door said the words, "Hearst Ribs." At the door, a girl in a moon-white dress was taking out a sign from the store, which read, "Copper coins for Hearst's pork rib rice, copper coins for Hearst's pork rib noodles." The girl had waist-length black hair, fair skin, and a pair of big eyes with long eyelashes exuding a gentle gaze. She looked about 16 or 17 years old, with a sense of ethereal transparency. That's it, brother, I found the lover of my dreams, you know." Long Kong Kong quickly let go of Long Dang Dang's arm, and walked over quickly. Sensing that someone was approaching her quickly, the girl looked up, her big eyes showed a hint of joy, and she smiled and said, "Are you eating?" Long Kong Kong almost blurted out, "Eat." "Then please come in." The girl smiled slightly, her eyes became more gentle. Can I ask your name?" Long Kong Kong didn't know why, and felt a little nervous. The girl combed the broken hair on her forehead. "My name is Hepburn." "My name is Hepburn," the girl said softly. Hearing these words, Long Kong Kong stood there in a daze. For some reason, he just felt as if his heart had been hit hard. "If you eat, go in first. I have to post something." "Oh." Long Kong Kong agreed, but was dragged into the shop by Long Dang Dang. "What are you doing? Look at him then." Long Dang Dang patted his younger brother on the head, and he quite liked this action of Nay. Long Kong Kong didn't resist this time, but murmured, "Hepburn, Hepburn. The two boys are so handsome. What do you want to eat?" At this moment, a voice, a middle-aged man in his 40s who looked a bit skinny but looked very energetic, walked out. His appearance was 5 or 6 points similar to that of Hepburn on the outside, but there were more signs of aging on his face. "Seems to be related to that girl." Long Dang Dang pulled Long Kong Kong, who was still somewhat sluggish, to find a place to sit down, and said, "Just pork rib rice, you can give me 2, thank you." As soon as he entered the door, he could smell the strong smell of pork rib meat, and he couldn't help it for a while. "I feel a little hungry." "Okay, wait a moment." The middle-aged man went to the back to get busy. At this moment, Long Kong Kong looked up at Long Dang Dang. "Brother, dear brother, I have difficulty breathing. I may really find the lover of my dreams. Really, I can't control my emotions, you know." Long Dang Dang rolled his eyes. "You do this every time you see a pretty girl." Long Kong Kong said decisively, "No, it's different this time." At this moment, Hepburn had already walked in from the outside. It was still early, and there were only 2 customers in the store, Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong. The girl came over and asked with a smile, "Have you ordered your meal yet?" "I've ordered, I want pork rib rice." Long Dang Dang replied with a smile. Hepburn looked at them and couldn't help but said, "You guys look so alike, I can't tell who is who, even the voice is the same. I was the one who asked your name just now. I am Long Kong Kong." "It doesn't matter who he is," Long Kong Kong said hastily, and gave Long Dang Dang a threatening look. Hepburn smiled, Poochie, and said, "You guys wait a moment, it will be fine in a while." After saying that, he walked to the back. Long Kong Kong's eyes followed her slim figure all the time. "Brother, this will be my cafeteria from now on, don't stop me." "Whatever. The pork rib rice is really good. There are 7 or 8 pieces of fragrant ribs on a large plate of pearl-like moist rice, and some chopped green onions are sprinkled on it. On both sides of the plate are boiled vegetables and chopped diced small pickles, paired with a bowl of pork rib soup dotted with coriander. Although not a delicacy, it is definitely delicious." What Long Dang Dang ate was delicious and sweet, but what Long Kong Kong ate was a little out of it. Was time to pay the bill. Hepburn asked with a smile, "Is your food okay?" Long Dang Dang gave a thumbs up and said, "It's delicious." "Yeah, delicious." Long Kong Kong also hurriedly agreed. A total of 40 copper coins. Long Dang Dang paid the money, and pulled Long Kong Kong out of the Hearst ribs. "Hey, why are you dragging me? You can't sit still after eating." Long Kong Kong looked dissatisfied. "I'm mainly afraid that you will be beaten out by the shopkeeper. I can't stand it if you look at his daughter for so long," Long Dang Dang said angrily. Long Kong Kong said stubbornly, "Nonsense, she was clearly smiling at me all the time." "Huh." As he was speaking, he turned his head and saw the recruitment notice posted on the door of the chop shop. "We are looking for a weekend hourly worker, working 2 days a week, more than 4 hours. Recruitment." Long Kong Kong's eyes lit up. Dang Dang realized something in an instant and raised his hand to grab him, but Long Kong Kong slipped under his feet and went straight into the shop. Long Dang Dang slapped his forehead. He just came to the holy city, and this kid started making. It was not easy for him to enter the Spiritual Stove Academy. If he was distracted, would he pass the examination? However, He also understands Long Kong Kong, although he is usually unreliable if he is careless, but if he is sure about it, he is very stubborn. 8 cows can't be pulled back, unless his mother is here in person, otherwise he can't stop him living. Not long after, Long Kong Kong came out of host's ribs shop. Seeing his proud appearance, Long Dang Dang understood that this kid must have succeeded. Finished? Long Dang Dang asked. Of course, work study. As a child from a poor family, I work part-time to earn some tuition for school expenses. Brother, if you come to our restaurant for dinner later, don't tell me that you missed it. Long Dang Dang was speechless for a while. You said that you are a child of a poor family. Have you ever thought about the feelings of your parents? In his storage ring, there is still a bag of gold coins, and a gold is a stored value of 1,000 gold coins in the gold in the holy city. This is not a small sum of money. It was my mother who saved the two of them to buy equipment and daily necessities. They don't know anyway, as long as you don't tell me. Long Kong Kong said with a smile. Long Dang Dang said, let's go and buy daily necessities. From his point of view, empty space is just a few days of enthusiasm. Come out to work. Fortunately, he could figure it out. This kid is usually at home, but he can't even help the oil bottle if it is he didn't persuade much. The two bought some daily necessities, and Long Kong Kong's excitement seemed to stay at host's ribs, and he returned to the Spiritual Stove Academy through the teleportation array without asking for any further visits. When I returned to the dormitory, there was no one in the common living room on the first floor, and I don't know if all the roommates in the same building have. Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong returned to the third floor. Before returning to their rooms, Long Dang Dang said to Long Kong Kong, don't forget that Mr. Yi said that he will teach you to study every weekend. Why don't you go out to work? You have to arrange the time yourself. And you must be at the bottom of this spiritual furnace academy. If you want to stay, you must really work hard. Don't disappoint Teacher Yi's heart. I know. Why are you so annoying? Don't keep nagging. Long Kong Kong opened his room door impatiently. The corners of Long Dang Dang's mouth turned up slightly, also. If you are expelled from Spirit Stove Academy, Teacher Yi will definitely take you away, and you will never want to go to host's ribs again. Long Kong Kong's body froze, and he looked back at his brother. Don't say it, it seems that it is really the case. I won't be eliminated, I must pass the assessment. He said, closing the door and leaving. Looking at the door he closed, Long Dang Dang smiled slightly, and murmured, I'm sure. Early in the morning, after finishing his meditation, Long Dang Dang walked out of the room after washing and took the initiative to go to the first floor to find Mu. Also met some other were all 15 or 16-year-old. The arrival of Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong, they seemed a little indifferent and didn't express much. Long Dang Dang went upstairs to wake up Long Kong Kong. Today, Long Kong Kong looked extraordinarily energetic, but he didn't sleep all night last night. He had been meditating through the Yuan Vortex spiritual furnace. Except for Mu Yi, the other 3 roommates didn't take the initiative to talk to them, and the 2 brothers naturally wouldn't use hot faces to stick cold butts. The canteen area is divided according to age, and the 6 classes of the 6 occupations in the first grade eat in the same. Was breakfast time at this time, and Long Kong Kong's eyes were not enough as soon as he entered the cafeteria, and he looked around for any beautiful women. Don't you have a rib girl? Isn't that your true love? What else are you looking at? Long Dang Dang asked in a low voice. What do you call Rib's girl? Are you polite? She is obviously older than us. Long Kong Kong said angrily, you have your own. Although my heart belongs to me, it can't affect my raising my eyes. But it seems that the quality is average, and I didn't see anything special. It's not as good as ours. Your deskmate in your class is very good. I heard that you seemed to be crying when you left. Shut up, can you stop thinking about these things all day long? Long Dang Dang was holding the plate and was about to cook when a few people walked towards him. These people are obviously coming towards them. Among them are their roommates from the same dormitory before, and the head of the person is extremely tall, at a distance of meters, with broad shoulders and a wide back, and the muscles of his whole body seem to be full of explosive energy. The power of. Several people came to stand in front of the 2 brothers, and the tall and strong male student at the head looked at them and asked, New here? Long Dang asked with a smile on his face, hello, we are the first-year freshmen of the Cavaliers. It's a transfer student. Their unknown roommate next to them interjected. The leading male student glanced at Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong. I am Jian Mu, the squad leader of night class, Since you are new transfer students, today is your first day of class. After school, the 2 of you will be responsible for cleaning hygiene in the class. Why? Long Kong Kong had already jumped over from the side, shouting with his hands on his hips. This is the rule. Jian Mu said lightly. Oh? Whose rule is it? Long Dang Dang grabbed his younger brother and asked. Jian Mu pointed to his nose, is there any problem with my rules? Long Dang Dang smiled, no. The corners of Jian Mu's mouth turned up in a disdainful arc, and he turned away. Long Kong Kong looked at the backs of these first-class night students, and then at his elder brother. Brother, we being bullied. Long Dang Dang shrugged his shoulders. The teachers don't like us, let alone these students. We just came here, so let's observe in a low-key manner. Let's eat. The college's breakfast was very rich, and there were many ingredients that Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong had never seen before. After a simple meal, I went to Mu Yi and went to the first class of nights together. Mu Yi didn't seem to see what happened to them being stopped by Jian Mu earlier. He didn't ask or say much, and he was still naive, and introduced them to the situation of the first grade. The first grade is in the same teaching building, and there is another venue for teaching building is mainly a place to teach theoretical knowledge. Every day is usually half a day of theoretical class or practical class, and the other half day is time for management is looser than that of ordinary temple college. Long as you can pass the test, you can cultivate however you want. Although this sounds very simple, but Long Dang Dang understands, how can the students who can enter here be simple, who would not work hard? Night class is on the first floor of the first grade. Teaching style of the teaching building is simple, the whole body is white, and the shape is not very regular. From a distance, it looks like a huge white stone standing level for each grade, but it is also simple. The students in white school uniforms came in and out, rarely talking to each other, and their steps were relatively fast. Walking into the classroom is very big, at least twice the size of the classroom when Long Dang Dang and Long Kong Kong were in Temple College, but there are only 10 sets of tables and chairs inside. Mu Yi said, "Wait a minute, I'll find you 2 sets of tables and chairs. There were only 10 people in the class before. Let's move it by ourselves, please lead the way." Long Dang Dang said hastily. I found tables and chairs in a storage room on the first floor and moved them to the classroom, placing them behind the last row, and the 2 brothers sat down. Mu Yi sat in the front seat, and the other students in the class hadn't come returning to his place. Mu Yi smiled and said to their brothers, "Spirit Furnace Academy, the lower grades are based on strength. The grades implement a final elimination system every year. Not every class is eliminated, but the whole grade is assessed together. The 2 classes with the lowest total scores will have 1 person eliminated respectively. At the same time, the total scores will be included in the grades, which will appear in the form of coefficients when the grade is raised. If there are too many people in the class, the coefficients will be lowered. Everyone is very nervous here. If you can't graduate from the lower grades and enter the upper grades, then everything will become meaningless." Long Dang Dang asked, "What is a lower grade and what is a higher grade?" Mu Yi Dao, 1, 2, 3 are the lower grades, 4, 5, and 6 are the upper grades. From the 3rd grade to the 4th grade will be a watershed. And soon there will be a spiritual stove selection conference. Recently, everyone's emotions are very tense. So don't worry too much about it. "Oh, yes, thank you," Long Dang Dang said with a smile. Not long after they returned to their seats and sat down, other students also entered the class. After they came in, they would look at the new pair of twin brothers first. No one came up to say hello, but they all sat back in their seats, and the atmosphere in the whole class seemed a little silent. Jian Mu also came. His tall figure naturally sat in the back row, just in front of Long Kong Kong. His tall back almost completely blocked Long Kong Kong's sight. "Let's change," Long Dang Dang said softly to Long Kong Kong. No, someone is covering it, so it's convenient to sleep," Long Kong Kong said with a speaking. He really fell down on the table. This video will end here.